I see you watching all my autumn videos. Yes, I do. In my analytics, I'm almost back to being monetized. Thank goodness. Anyway, as a thank you, I decided to take one of my most popular videos and requests and everything like that, turn it into a more beginner-friendly tutorial in the hopes to inspire you to get your autumn crafting on. You know, it's autumn crafting time. I hate to break it to you. I know it's the middle of August, but in order to get this stuff made in time to be on display, we need some time. Anyway, so today's tutorial is on this, another pumpkin doll. This one here is more beginner friendly than my previous video, and like I said, so many of you have been watching that recently and I can't thank you enough. It's definitely helped out with all of my stats and everything. And another thing, thank you so much for joining me over the past couple of weeks whilst we've been bringing back the autumn videos. I so appreciate it, and I'm on a high right now. So this weekend I didn't just make 1, 2 or 3, I made 5 babies because I figured I'm going to put them on my Etsy store. I also made a pattern whilst I was at it, so if you want the exact measurements, like a bit of a longer tutorial as well, then I also have a pattern going up on my Etsy store for this little guy. This little guy is called Benny. I love him, he's adorable, and like I said, I've made a more simplified version today for this video, and I thought I'd publicly share it as a thank you. So if you want to make this, then stay tuned. If you want a more in-depth tutorial and the pattern pieces which you can print out and get one the exact same size, then I have that available as well, and it'll be in my kind of like link description bit down below. And yeah, these will be available to purchase as well, because so many people ask me still about my other pumpkin boy and I never have time to make them, so I decided to sit down whilst I had a bit of time and I made some. So if you want one of those, they're on the Etsy store as well, and that obviously helps me to buy more supplies and get more time on my hands to make more videos. So yeah, that's a very long intro, and let's just get into the tutorial. So first of all, we're going to start with Benny's head, and in order to make this, you're going to need to make a pumpkin shape. To do this, just take a scrap piece of fabric in an orangey colour preferably, a nice long rectangle, and stitch down the shorter of 2 sides so that it creates a loop. You then want to make a little drawstring effect around the top just by tacking around, pulling it tight and securing that down into place, and then you want to turn it the right size way around so that it almost acts like a little bag. Then you're going to want to stuff this with your stuffing of choice, and then you basically just want to do the same at the top in reverse. So tack around the top, pull it tight and stitch it down into place. Next, to create the segments of the pumpkin head, you're going to need a large needle and some matching kind of embroidery floss or wool or string, whatever you want to use here, and then we're going to wrap that around, poking the thread back up through and pulling it tight so that makes an indent where the segment will be. You then want to move your needle around again a couple inches, just how many segments you want, how big you want them, this is down to you, how far apart you kind of put these threads, and you want to pull it tight, just secure it down with a little knot as well, that helps out to keep it into place, and then just do it over and over and over until your pumpkin head is all segmented up. Next, it's time to add the face on. I use a little offcut to make the nose, and then some beaded eyes to create that. You can use whatever you want. You can paint these on, you can add little bits of felt, you can stitch them on like I have, whatever tickles your fancy here. Do what you want with the face, but this is how I did my face. So scrap for the nose, then beads for the eyes, and a little kind of stitch for the mouth. So this is where the pattern will come in handy, but basically you want to create a rectangle piece with room for the arms and room for the legs down at the bottom. You want to sew around this, leaving the armholes and the little leg holes open, so then we can obviously put the little legs and arms in there. Then you just want to cut off any excess. I like to leave tabs on the openings. This helps turn it the right side way around and helps to get those arms and legs in there. As you can see, like I'm leaving those bits as little tabs around where those openings will be, and cutting the rest of the excess back to around about 1/4 centimeter. Then you want to turn this the right size way around and then stuff this. What I like to do is just adjust the top part of this pattern piece as well, so that it almost goes in more of a 3D shape at this point, and then I go in and just attach the head to the top of the body, just with some simple stitching. You can use glue here if you want to, then reinforce with stitching. I just like to stitch mine completely because I hate stitching over glue, and yeah, that's how I did it. So next, for the arms and legs, you're going to need some sticks. I did this pattern specifically with sticks in mind because the arms and legs on my other dolls have always been the most trickiest part, and I've taken on feedback to say they are a bit more tricky and not quite so beginner friendly, so I thought we'd move on to the sticks. This makes it a quicker pattern as well, and like I said, I wanted to create this one as more of a beginner one for people people. So yeah, here it is. So I ordered sticks from Amazon. Yes, I was one of those people. Sticks from Amazon. Could I have picked them up out in nature? Yes, but I wanted just nice sticks. I did some with some nature sticks. It wasn't really giving the vibes that I wanted to, so I bought sticks as an investment. Okay, these are 15cm ones, so I was able to cut them down, and then I just basically took some hot glue on the ends and stuck them in and made sure that they were all angled correctly. I then stitched up around those sticks as well to make sure all the openings and stuff were closed and they were all secure. I'm not gonna lie, like, I've never thought of using sticks myself, but after watching there was a TV kind of like movie on Netflix, like The Acorn Man or Chestnut Man, I think it was, total inspo, and I've seen loads of amazing primitive artists on Instagram and Pinterest as well that do this, and I always think it looks really cute, so I thought that this would be a great way to do that. So like I said, you're going to want to put the arms and legs in those holes and then you're going to want to secure up those bits, just like stitching up or just gluing it. So now we have the base of the doll completed. It's then time for the fun part, so decorating. This is how I decorated Benny. Okay, you could do it in whatever way you want. I felt like the orange needed to be balanced a little bit on the body just because of the fabrics and stuff I chose. I felt like it just needed a pop of colour down the bottom, so I took just an offcut of the same fabric that I used for his head and I just popped a little patch on. I thought that would be cute. Then took my pattern piece and I just created this really simple jacket kind of S. It's basically just a little wrap made out of herringbone wool tweed, and I like using natural fabrics here. I think it just works better for primitive pieces. It looks more authentic. So this is actually like 100% wool tweed. I just cut that out from the pattern piece, cut out 2 arm pieces, and then I just dressed that on to Benny. Just fits perfectly. Like I said, I've measured all this out on the actual pattern, so if you want to buy the pattern, that will make it easier for you. If not, really kind of just draft yourself one and you'll be golden, or just do a couple attempts, or maybe make a paper pattern to test it out and not waste your fabric. Do whatever you have to do. Anyway, I added a little kind of bow tie scarf for this one. I felt like I needed to hide some of those stitches and I thought that this would just add a cute little gentleman's touch, so just a little scrap of this checkered fabric. I tied that around the neck into a little bow shape. I thought it looked cute and I had all those raw edges and everything like that on there. Then for some extra touches, I just took some twine, wrapped that around the jacket. That kind of stopped it from opening and flapping around, and I tied that into a bow just off to the side, which again, adorable. Then I hand sewed on a little pocket down in the corner because I felt like it needed a pocket. This obviously then can have little flowers in it, little bits of decor, so cute, and just whatever you want to put in there. Last but not least, it was time to make Benny's little pumpkin stalk. To do this, I just took some wool felt, rolled it up and glued that into place. I cut some little kind of scalloped edges around that, glued it on top of Benny's head, and voila, that was the end of the tutorial. Like I said, I do have a longer extended version with a bit more behind the scenes if you want to see that. That goes with the pattern, but if not, I hope this was helpful. And there we go, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said at the beginning of the video, these guys are listed on my Etsy shop now if you want to buy one. If you don't worry, make your own, please do. Definitely tag me on Instagram if you take inspo, because I would love to see your creations. And if you want to make it a bit easier for yourself, or you just want to buy my pattern, then that's linked down in the description as well. So anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day. I will be back in a couple more days with another autumn video. I'm on it now. I am on a roll, you see, and we are back, baby. So anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Bye.